The Haunting of Hollow Grove. In the heart of Hollow Grove, a dense and foreboding forest covered in a shroud of eternal mist stood, a place where ancient whispers seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. It was a place few dared to venture, and with good reason. One chilly autumn evening, four friends decided to challenge their fears and embark on an adventure into the heart of Hollow Grove. Sarah, the fearless leader of the group, rallied her friends, Mike, Jenny, and Mark. Armed with flashlights, they followed an old, overgrown trail that led deeper into the woods, each step taking them further from the safety of civilization. As the moonlight filtered through the trees, the eerie silence was broken by strange rustling sounds, and the wind seemed to carry distant, chilling laughter. But they pressed on, each driven by a curious mix of fear and excitement. Deeper into the woods, they stumbled upon an ancient, crumbling building, the Hollow Grove Asylum. It had long been abandoned, its history shrouded in darkness. Stories of inhumane treatments, unexplained deaths, and the countless tormented souls who had once lived within its walls were the stuff of local legend. Sarah, undeterred, decided they should explore the asylum. The creaking doors and shattered windows welcomed them into a place where time had stood still. The air inside was thick with despair, as if the suffering of the past still lingered. They wandered down narrow, shadowy hallways, their flashlights casting eerie, shifting shapes on the decaying walls. The asylum's history began to reveal itself in disturbing ways. Old, rusted restraints lay haphazardly on blood-stained beds. Faint whispers and cries could be heard in the distance. They entered a room filled with dusty, forgotten journals. Jenny picked one up and started reading, revealing horrifying accounts of the asylum's inmates' suffering and experiments conducted by the staff. The journal spoke of a vengeful spirit, a patient who had been wronged, seeking retribution on those who dared to intrude. A sudden gust of frigid wind blew through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic gripped them as they were plunged into darkness, with only the moonlight barely illuminating their surroundings. Then, from the shadows emerged a gaunt figure in tattered rags, a wailing, vengeful specter. Its hollow eyes bore into their souls, and the room echoed with tormented, agonized screams. The friends scrambled to flee, but the asylum itself seemed to conspire against them, doors slamming shut and corridors twisting in unfamiliar ways. Mark, separated from the group, was caught by the spirit's icy grip. As he screamed, his body contorted in unimaginable pain. The others, helpless, could only watch in horror as Mark was consumed by the malevolent entity. Their flight from the asylum was frantic, their hearts pounding. They finally emerged from the forest, shaken and scarred by the ordeal. They never spoke of that night again, but the haunting memory of Hollow Grove would forever linger, a reminder of the horrors that lay in the shadows, waiting for those who dared to uncover its sinister secrets. Years later, on a moonlit night, Sarah received an anonymous letter. It was a page torn from the same journal they had found in the asylum. The page contained a chilling message: "We're still here, waiting." The nightmare of Hollow Grove had not ended, and its malevolent spirit was still seeking retribution. The friends, their lives forever marked by that fateful night, decided to return to Hollow Grove, compelled by a sense of guilt and responsibility. They hoped to confront the malevolent spirit and put an end to the torment they had unwittingly unleashed. As they re-entered the forest and made their way back to the asylum, they were met with an oppressive silence. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie pallor over the landscape. The asylum loomed ahead, its decaying facade even more menacing than they remembered. This time, they were better prepared. They brought with them relics and incantations meant to banish spirits. They believed that these would finally release the tortured soul of the vengeful patient, granting it peace. As they entered the asylum once more, the atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation. The air was filled with whispers, and the specter's presence was palpable. They made their way to the room where they had first encountered the malevolent spirit. With trembling hands, Sarah recited the incantations and held out the relics. For a moment, it seemed as if the spirit would finally find release. But then, a bone-chilling wail filled the room, and the specter manifested, more powerful and malevolent than ever. The friends were thrust into a nightmarish battle of wills. The spirit, fueled by decades of anger and suffering, fought to maintain its grip on the world of the living. The friends, bound by their determination and their desire to right the wrongs of the past. The friends were thrust into a nightmarish battle of wills. The spirit, fueled by decades of anger and suffering, fought to maintain its grip on the world of the living. The friends, bound by their determination and their desire to right the wrongs of the past, fought back with all their strength. As the battle raged, the room seemed to distort and contort, the very fabric of reality bending under the weight of the supernatural struggle. The very walls of the asylum groaned, as if they, too, were suffering. In a final, desperate surge of energy, the friends channeled all their intent into the incantations and relics. With a blinding flash of light, the spirit was forced to dissipate. The room fell into a profound silence, and the malevolent presence was gone. The friends had succeeded in banishing the vengeful spirit, bringing closure to the asylum's dark past. But the price they had paid was heavy. Their lives had been irrevocably changed, and they knew they could never truly escape the haunting memory of Hollow Grove. As they left the asylum, the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, and the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The mist that had shrouded the woods began to dissipate, and for the first time in years, Hollow Grove seemed to have found a semblance of peace. The friends knew that they could never fully leave the horrors of that place behind, but they had faced their fears and brought an end to the malevolence that had plagued Hollow Grove for so long. In the end, it was a bittersweet victory, a reminder that some nightmares, once awakened, can never truly be put to rest.